Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
I know this is the college football show. I'm well aware of that. Every Tuesday, we gather here to say inappropriate things and gamble. But man, we got playoffs. Playoffs? Major League Baseball playoffs going on as well. Welcome to the Degenerates Next Door. My name is Jason Hammer. I do the Hammer and Nigel radio program in Indianapolis. And alongside of me, former elected official in the Hoosier State. He was a tax-cutting machine. He goes against the establishment in government and in his gambling philosophy. Rob Kendall, how are you?
Yeah, I even go against my own country, and that cashed big money because the Europeans beat the snot out of the Americans at the Ryder Cup.
You were all in on the Euros in the Ryder Cup, and it was plus money.
That's right. Little victory dance on that. If I texted you, I said, look, if we just could have a major golf event every week, I'd be a millionaire.
Yes. What do you think of the crowd? Like, everybody's talking about the crowd. Oh, it was so embarrassing. They were so rude. They were chanting F-bombs. Like, I thought it was fine. I like that kind of stuff, but I'm a degenerate.
Well, look, the Ryder Cup is, and by the way, I'd like to point out, I think they opened the broadcast talking about how this is now becoming the biggest event in golf. And I said, boy, glad Hammer didn't hear that. He'd probably yell at the broadcast team.
I would, because it's wrong.
Yeah, they don't know. The pros, the guys that do it every week, they don't know.
They don't. Ask anybody out there on that course, hey, what's a bigger deal, this or the Masters? What do you think the answer is going to be?
I think
Ask players.
I think they would say the Ryder Cup.
So they'd rather win the Ryder Cup than have a green jacket. You're so full of crap.
There's more
You
emotion.
are so full of crap.
There's more emotion you see in the Ryder Cup in one shot than the entire time of any golf tournament. Unbelievable. Anyway, point being, we're talking
so
about,
ridiculous.
Talking about how I was right over here.
I was trying to give you credit. Then you tried to give me crap, and you're still wrong.
I'm a spiteful person.
You are. You're very little, very petty man.
I think
you're the Diego of this group. You're Vanderbilt's quarterback, which also is an inside joke to Indiana politics.
I think the crowd got a little out of control. I think the taunting, the cheering, I think that's fine. I think, though, you got to have a little decorum. By the way, if I were an American, I would decline the invite to play in Europe in a couple of years.
Oh, you can't be bitches.
I wouldn't even go over there.
Oh, you can't be bitches, Rob. You got to go.
I can be anything. I'm an American.
You got to be Reggie Miller walking into the garden and embrace it, right? You got to love the hate. It's got to fuel you. I thought if anybody would be fueled by hatred, it's you.
Yeah.
You're a politician.
Yeah.
You were.
Well, I was. That's right. I think my kid, she's 2 years old, she watched these things called Simple Songs, and there's one where they teach please and no thank you, and it goes, please, no, thank you. Please, no, thank you. That would be me if I got the invite. Please, no, thank you.
And you'd be labeled the softest dude ever. We would share that Kobe Bryant gift of him just mouthing soft to you over and over again.
Anyway, I stink at most of the sports betting, but I'm pretty good at golf.
All right, so we brought up his name earlier. Let's get into it. The biggest game of the week, I think, is Vanderbilt at Alabama. Now, it probably would have been Florida State and Miami, but Florida State crapped the bet against Virginia last week. Texas and Florida has lost a lot of mojo because Florida is ass. So here we are, and Vandy is led by Diego Pavia. Just a little bitty dude, real strong. I bet he's got a really strong handshake to overcompensate the fact that he's small. He's one of those guys. But he's got Vandy cruising. He's got Vanderbilt football mattering, which is hard to do. And they beat Alabama a year ago. So let's look at this game here. You've got Vandy at Bama in Tuscaloosa, kind of a revenge spot for Alabama. Bama's a 10.5-point home favorite, and the over-under is at 56.5.
All right, so I don't want to do this to you again 2 weeks in a row, because I know you were just seething with rage that we had the same bets 2 weeks in a row.
Though we did somehow pull that Penn State over out of our ass last week.
Just for that whole game, though, every 2 minutes, Hammer, I hate you. I hate you. And I was like, look, it's going to be fine. We're going to win in overtime. And we did. We did by the skin of our teeth. Look, 56.5 is a lot of points. I don't see Vandy. How many times do we see this? Oh, this guy's a great quarterback. He's at this, he's at that. And then they play somebody that's an adult team, and it doesn't go well for them. I couldn't do it to you 2 weeks in a row, so I'll just look at total points here. 56.5 is a lot. Even if Bama gets 31, Vandy would have to get 26. 27 is probably the most likely number. I just don't see that happening. I'll take the under, and I'll look forward to a 45-40 final.
I told you when the lines were coming out, anything under 13, I'm on Bama.
Yeah.
Because Bama's at home. And the line is 10.5. And who knows? Maybe if there's an influx of people who have fallen in love with little Napoleon there, Diego Pavia at Vandy.
Sounds like a singer, doesn't he?
Right. Maybe you can get that hook out of here, because the hook does scare me a little bit.
Maybe you're playing with Bad Bunny at halftime. Bad Bunny and Diego Pavia.
I just can't see Vandy beating Alabama back-to-back seasons. And Vanderbilt, although they're having success, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games against Alabama. Of course, the one being last year when they won outright. Bama, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 home games. And Bama at home is a different animal than Bama on the road here. Now, listen, they scored 73 points against Louisiana Monroe. So that's going to kind of screw the points per game at home. But they also put up 38 against Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin stinks offensively, but defensively, they're okay. And Bama still put up 38 on them. So I think Bama at home in a revenge spot. And after seeing Vanderbilt celebrate for an entire year and take a goalpost down Broadway and throw it in the river, and their entire offseason recruiting program was showing highlights of that game, having to hear about how great Diego Pavia is, he was on the Netflix special. Bama's quarterback has really gotten better since that opening night debacle against Florida State. If you've watched him play, especially against Georgia, he had some command. So I'm going to roll Tide here. I'm going to lay 10.5 with Alabama.
I was at your house 1 year ago, too. It was your birthday special.
It was. Tennessee had lost down at Arkansas, and then Vandy upset Bama. All right, so now, Rob, I will give you any game you want. You can look at this big board of games. You can pick a popular matchup. You can pick a degenerate matchup. Could be somewhere in between. Where are we going?
We're going to Notre Dame, baby, because the Irish are back. We're back.
All the hard teams are off the schedule, and here come the Irish.
All we got to do is run the table, and we're in that college football playoff because there's no way they're keeping a 10-2 Notre Dame team out. Look, Notre Dame, okay, you may have a point. The hard teams are off the schedule. But they beat Arkansas by so much last week, they fired that coach.
Fired.
He's fired. Boise State coming to town. Now, it's 20.5. It's a big spread. But I always hear about running quarterbacks. Ooh, he's a dual threat. He's a this, he's a that. You know what? Notre Dame played a dual threat last year with Army, and they beat that dude into dust. You can't run the ball against the Irish. You can throw the ball, but you can't run the ball. 20.5 slot, but Notre Dame's playing for style points. Plus, Casey, my co-host, said I got to take Notre Dame. I'm taking the Irish, laying 20.5 to the college playoff we go.
And they have to beat the brakes off of all these people.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that loss that USC had last week really hurts Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the signature game that was left on their schedule. You really needed USC to be good, so that way if you win that one, it looks better.
But there's no way if Notre Dame's 10-2, they're keeping them out of that playoff. No way.
All right, so Rob is going to lay, big number, 20.5 with the Irish. I'm going down to the Swamp. And again, if somebody just woke up from a coma, maybe they were in a car crash a couple years ago, and we're sitting here talking about Bama and Vandy being the marquee matchup, not Texas going to the Swamp, you'd probably be wondering, what the hell's going on here? But you need to understand, Florida sucks.
They're ass.
Florida is ass. And I'll admit, I thought they had turned a corner once they went with DJ Lagway last year because he lit a spark. Florida in the last half of the year was really good. They knocked Ole Miss out of the college football playoffs. They were putting up points. Lagway looked like the big recruit that he was. But this year, he has regressed. And I don't know if people have watched tape or something got to his head, but he's not very good. Arch Manning somewhat has an excuse. Okay, this is the first time you've ever played. Maybe the game was faster than you thought. You're the full-time starter now. There's a lot of expectations. We're going to see if he's any good or not because Florida's defense is good, and the Swamp's going to be rocking and rolling. And history shows college football Mannings have a hard time winning in Florida. So I'm going to lay 6.5 with Texas here because of the defense. It's not because I think Texas is going to put up some sort of video game number offensively. I think if the Longhorns can get me 23 points, I think we cover this. Because right now, the way Lagway's playing and that Gator offense, it's bad. It's real bad. And less than a touchdown, the better defense going on the road, I'll hitch my wagon to the Horns minus 6.5.
I like it.
All right, let's see what our professionals have to say. Because Rob and I, we're just a couple slap nuts that drink. We do our homework, but, we're not the pros. But David Stephanoff and Kenny Britt, they are professionals, and we're making them give us free plays next on The Degenerates Next Door. Back on The Degenerates Next Door, got a lot of stuff going on here. We got Major League Baseball playoffs. We got the NFL. Hell, we're less than a month away from the NBA returning, but we're talking college football today, and one of our pro handicappers that we turn to is Kenny Britt of KB Sports. KB, how are you?
I'm doing great, and like you said, everything's going on at once. I think later in October we'll have, it's called the Sports Lexicon, where we have a handful of days where all 4 major sports are going at the same time. Yeah, just amazing. Yeah, that's a great time of year. But, we're already a quarter over the football season. It seems like just yesterday we were saying how we can't wait for it to start, and we're already a quarter over.
I know. It's a little upsetting if you sit back and think about it. But the way I view it, Kenny, we got some money to be made. We got a lot of weeks to make some money. So let's get cracking, Bubba lacking here. The game of the week that we have asked all of you guys to participate in is Vandy at Alabama. Now, if somebody just woke up from a coma where they've been in a car crash for 5 years, and we tried to explain to them that Vandy is part of the game of the week, not Texas at Florida, not Florida State, Miami, but Vanderbilt, right. The Commode Doors, as they've been known as for years, are part of the game of the week. It might be a little bit of a culture shock.
It would be a shock if you woke up and saw that in the TV guide, but I'm sure you've already talked about this earlier in your show with Rob. But you mention every week the pettiness of college football and what makes it so great. So I'm sure you've already talked about the Nick Saban Vanderbilt stuff, right?
Oh, they used that last year. They played it on the Jumbotron at Vandy.
Yes, so we've got that going for us in this game. This game, Vandy went on the road to beat South Carolina, but I think Sellers went out in the first quarter of that game, so that kind of changed the whole atmosphere of that game. I'm just not sure about Vandy yet. They're a good team. I'm not going to say they're not, but I'm just not sure about them yet. I think there's going to be a lot of emotions early on in this game, and that usually leads to mistakes. So I'm not going to pick a side at 10.5. Alabama, they went and beat Georgia, but how good's Georgia right now? I'm going to lean towards the under on this, and I'm going to go with the under 56.5. I just think there's going to be a lot of emotions in the early part of the game, maybe some mistakes. Vandy has not seen a defense like Alabama's yet. So I'm going with the under 56.5 on this game, Jason.
All right. I made my pick. I hitched my wagon to Alabama covering the 10.5.
Okay.
I don't think they blow Vandy out, but right. I think they win by 13-ish, right around there. And look, Diego Pavia isn't sneaking up on people anymore, especially Alabama, who their entire recruiting offseason was a highlight of what he did against Alabama. players storming the field, taking the goalpost up and down Broadway in Nashville. Bama remembers that, and I don't know, maybe the calls for Bama's demise were a little premature here.
Yeah, that's the one where they threw it in the river there, right right there in downtown Nashville.
It's kind of a Tennessee thing, yeah. In Knoxville, they take the goalpost to the river, but they also did it in Nashville too. But what's cool about Nashville and Vandy, they took it down Broadway, like the big honky-tonk bar strip. So all of the hot chicks having their bachelorette parties are seeing these rowdy college kids shirtless taking a goalpost to the river.
Get great big poles, huh?
Well, I don't know about that, but they took it down the street, that's for sure. All right, so we're riding the under on that one, under 56.5. What is the game of your choice? Any game you want.
All right. Yeah, Jason, I got what I'm going to call my Jason Hammer special this week. I'm going out to the great state of Wyoming and UNLV. UNLV, Dan Mullen's there this year. They average 37 points. They give up 29 points. They're go, go, go all the time. I want to talk about Wyoming for a minute, all right? I know you are our resident MAC expert, and I'm just saying this like Ricky Bobby with all due respect to your MAC bottom feeders. I think Wyoming is the most vanilla team in the country.
Okay, go on.
They average 16 points a game. They give up 18 points a game. They've got the ugliest uniforms, and I'm not joking. I know you know, but our listeners might not. They're yellow and shit brown.
Okay.
Team color. They're so ugly. They're almost cool. It's almost like watching Roadhouse on TV. It's a terrible movie, but me and you have probably seen it 100 times.
Yes.
Their uniforms are so ugly. They're almost cool. The end zones are painted shit brown and yellow. It's homecoming. They're having their stripe out game where every other section is yellow, shit brown. It's just got all the elements of great TV. The game will be on TV Saturday night. If the Miami-Florida State game is a blowout one way or the other, this is the only other early game to watch. The Big Ten game of the week game is Ohio State, Minnesota. Who cares about that? This is must-see TV, Jason. You've got ugly uniforms. You've got a team that can't score, that can't move the ball. You've got homecoming. You've got the stripe out. You've got all of it, man. I mean, ugly uniforms. Having said that Wyoming can't score, though, they didn't play last year, each other. Year before that, they pushed the total. 4 previous years, the game went over by a lot. Wyoming can score some points about twice a season, and this is the night they're doing it. I am all over the over 51.5. Jason, you might not agree with my selection, but I know you well enough to know you'll at least put $10 on the over just so you can have some action on this game. There's too many things involved.
Nobody loves a degenerate bet more than I do, right? It's the name of the show, The Degenerates Next Door. So I feel like I wouldn't be doing this show justice if I didn't put some of my hard-earned money on Wyoming and UNLV on a Saturday night.
Exactly. And, I love the over 51.5 in that game, but it's got so much more going on, and I'm not exaggerating. When you see Wyoming's uniforms, if you haven't yet, they're so ugly you'll like them. That's just like Roadhouse when it comes on TV. I'll send out a text. I'll put it on Facebook. That's a remote drop. Same thing with Wyoming's uniforms. So, yeah, man, that's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a lot of points scored. And it's just going to be really neat with their little stripe out, homecoming, their ugly uniforms, the end zones painted all shit brown and yellow. Yeah, so that's a must-see TV Saturday night, Jason, and you can win some money on it.
The Fighting Josh Allens of Wyoming. I'm looking forward to it now. I had no plans to watch it until now. So Friday night, I'm going to be locked into New Mexico at San Jose State, and Saturday night, I'm going to be locked into UNLV in Wyoming. We are the Degenerates Next Door.
If the listeners didn't know where we got our name, that's where.
Hey, man, we got baseball playoffs going on. The NFL season is here. Basketball's around the corner. If somebody wants to become a client of yours, where can they go?
Yeah, I'm going to, real quick, I wanted to ask you, I'm going to give you I know I'm a Reds fan, you're a Cubs fan, but getting right down to it, I think Seattle's got probably the easiest road to get to the ALCS. Seattle's my pick for the World Series to win it all. I think they got the best hitting combination. I'm on Seattle. Who are you on? I know you want the Cubs, but
well, I have preseason futures still alive. I got the Tigers at 30-1 at the beginning of the year.
Nice.
And
God.
had the Phillies at I think it was 17-1 at the beginning of the year. Might have been a little less than that, but future action still in play. Yes.
That's great. Okay, all right. Well, I'm on Seattle, and but let's go Reds, go Cubbies, and maybe they could meet in the National League Championship game. That would be great. I'm on Facebook, KB Sports. I do have Major League Baseball packages. I hit 64% in September, 67 games over 500 on the year. Football, I had a good week last week, went 8-5, got back on track. We're above 500 in football, college, and pro. But everything can be found on my Facebook page, KB Sports. And let's go Wyoming UNLV. Can't wait for that game.
All right, brother man. We will talk to you on Thursday for the NFL show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
So we go from one professional handicapper to another one. Our guy, David Stephanoff, the man behind FollowNeverFade.com. He's the CEO. He's the badass. He's the winning machine. My man, how are you?
Well, it was fade.com last week, Hammer. I got the golden sombrero. Let's just stop and no BS right now. It's fade.com. How you doing, Hammer?
Man, I'm good.
Crazy week of football last week. Crazy week of football. Some good games. We realized we already knew. James Franklin was James Franklin. Georgia's frauds. Bama's good. Oregon's really good. Great week of college football. I really think that Big Ten's better than the SEC this year.
So let me talk about Georgia, because Kenny Britt, right before you, kind of said something similar. We don't know if Georgia's any good or not. I do think Georgia is good. I think Georgia's really good. But, and you know this, David, there are just some teams that have other teams' numbers, and you can't beat them no matter what you do. Like Tennessee can't beat Georgia, but Georgia can't beat Alabama. Alabama has a hard time with LSU. Like, there are just certain teams that own each other, you know?
I believe that, definitely. I just think Georgia had so many chances to. They didn't look very good offensive. Bama looked great on offense. Bama's quarterback is phenomenal.
He's gotten so much better since that ass whipping in week 1. He's looked really sharp.
Real good. Yes, that goes toward my play this week with Alabama versus Vandy. I love this play.
All right, so let's get into it. Vandy at Alabama, kind of a revenge game for Alabama in Tuscaloosa. At the time of this podcast, which is Tuesday afternoon, they are a 10-point home favorite. And you got any action on a side, or are you looking at a total? What are we getting into here?
I'm gonna give you the whole package here. I think this is a mismatch. I give Vanderbilt. I've watched Vanderbilt play. I don't give them very much leeway here. Their schedule, they played nobody. Yeah, they beat South Carolina. South Carolina was missing the best quarterback in America, Sellers. He didn't play that game. I throw that one out. Utah State put 24 up on last week. I don't think Vanderbilt's they're made out to be. They're way overrated. I really believe this. That's a revenge game for Bama. Bama's offense is unbelievable. They got a good quarterback. Vandy hasn't really stopped anybody all year. I think Bama lays it to them. But my play in this game, I'm gonna go Alabama team total over 32.5. I think they get 20-24 in the first half. I get this easily. I think Bama blows them out. I don't think Vandy's going to score very much. That's a one-sided game with revenge on Alabama's mind. Alabama's quarterback and their team, they made a statement last week for Georgia. They're legit.
Yeah, you're right. And as we said earlier in the show, as much as you like Diego Pavia of Vandy, he's the little man syndrome. I bet he's got a really hard handshake, but he's not sneaking up on Bama. Like last year, I felt like it was kind of a trap game. Bama was looking past Vandy. That ain't happening this year because, hell, Alabama has watched Vandy celebrate that win for an entire year.
Over and over.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. In their mind, and that DeBoer is a big loss for him. People to say you can't lose to Vanderbilt. But Vanderbilt's schedule's soft. They've played nobody. They've played absolutely nobody. Like I said, the South Carolina win is inflated. South Carolina scored 7 points. Sellers didn't play. I mean, that's inflated.
He started the game and got knocked out. Yeah.
Yeah, Alabama's the play here. Alabama's the play. The backup of that game couldn't. Me and you could play better quarterback in that backup in that game. Against, I watched the game. I mean, the coach was dumbfounded. He couldn't do anything about it. They were lost that game.
All right, so I got you on the over 32.5 for the team total. Now, you can pick any game on the board. We got some other options out there. Could be a big game. Could be a degenerate special. Where are we going?
Tulsa, Memphis, Hammer. Tulsa, Memphis. Tulsa's the best 2-3 team in America. Memphis is overrated. They're 5-0, but we're not going with the spread here. We're going with the over. Over 55 points. Tulsa, Memphis. Memphis wins over Florida versus Arkansas. We see what Arkansas was last week. Notre Dame put 60 up on them. There's going to be no defense in this game between Memphis and Tulsa. Two good coaches who will not be in these positions next year. They'll be in better programs. Mark my words there. Two good coaches who won't be there. Lots of offense, all gas, no brakes from both sides. Tulsa does a lot of trick plays. They always come out firing in the first half. Look, they did it for Oklahoma State. They did that last week versus Tulane. They scored a lot of points early. They're not as good as Memphis. They'll hang with Memphis. Memphis is kind of overrated. But we're on Memphis, Tulsa, over 55 points. VIP play, take it to the bank.
All right, my man. I like it. We're going to lock that in. If somebody wants to become a client of yours, you get the NFL. We got the baseball playoffs going on right now. Major League Baseball. Hell, NBA season, college basketball, really just about a month or so away. How can somebody find you?
Hammer, you're talking dirty to me right now. You're getting me excited to talk about college basketball. You already know. All right, yes, you can follow me everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. You sign up for my VIP football package, you get baseball and tennis free for the rest of the year. Last night, tennis overnight. If you played my tennis plays before you went to bed last night, you woke up 5-0 this morning. Tennis is the easiest sport to bet in the whole world. Anyway, sign up. You follow me everywhere. Give me a like, follow, whatever. Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. We're unbelievable on Instagram. Shout out to Kenny Britt, KB Sports, the mayor of Brownsburg, Rob, and the captain of our ship. I want to say thank you, Hammer, for everything you do for us, for me personally, and this podcast. Thank you again, and don't forget to follow Never Fade.
All right, so there you go. Our professionals giving you their picks. But we're not done. No. We got a little Major League Baseball playoffs coming up, and Rob Kendall's going to get nuts. I want action tonight. Those picks next on the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, and again, it's the college football show. We've given you our college football plays this week. Normally, I would do a full over-the-top produced degenerate special thing, right? Where I find some sort of low-level game that nobody really cares about, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Time's a factor today, so I'm just going to tell you. San Jose -2.5 Friday against New Mexico. San Jose's been a little underwhelming this year, but I think they're at home at least a field goal better than New Mexico. Now, the reason I wanted to rush that pick through was because the Major League Baseball playoffs are underway, Rob. And damn it, I want action tonight.
Yeah!
I want action tonight. Satisfaction all night.
We got ourselves a good old-fashioned pitcher matchup. 9 o'clock tonight, the Reds at the Dodgers. And, boy, the Reds are throwing Hunter Green out there. I know everybody and their brother thinks the Dodgers are going to sweep this 2-0. And on paper, they should. Look what the Dodgers spend compared to look what the Reds spend. Other than Hunter Green and Ellie De La Cruz, can anybody name a Cincinnati Red that's not a diehard fan? But this is a really good pitchers matchup here, and that Reds offense has been struggling lately. They kind of had to back their way into the playoffs. They lost the biggest game of the year against the Brewers where they could cash their own ticket. They needed the Mets to lose 2 out of 3 to the Marlins to make it in. And because they are the Mets, that happened. So I don't want any part of bullpen action here. I'm looking at first 5 innings under 3.5 runs. Under 3.5 runs for the first 5 innings tonight. Blake Snell against Hunter Green. Blake Snell's been really good. Hunter Green, If you haven't seen the kid throw, he's going to put it up there about 100 miles an hour. First 5 innings, keep the bullpens out of it, under 3.5. So that's my Major League Baseball playoff bet. My question to you, Rob Kendall, are you ready to get nuts?
All right, you want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts! Lights out! Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts!
All right, we'll try to make it two nuts wins in a row. All right, so baseball, right? We got to do something with baseball. Look, everybody's kind of down on the Tigers. They stunk last month of the season.
Boy, they choked that division away.
They did, but what's the real punishment? You get like you don't get the home games. That's the real punishment.
Right, you're on the road for the first 3, in theory, in the wild card round.
They're playing a team.
The Indians.
The Indians, their own division, right? So they know these guys. And the Tigers got a pitcher by the name of Scooball.
Bad dude.
Tarek Scooball.
Bad man.
Arguably the best pitcher, not just in, well, Skeens might be better, but arguably the best pitcher in the American League. 3-game series. I like that he's going game 1, right? And, he's going to pitch a bunch if they keep going. And the odds are 22-1. If you get the Tigers from the first part of the year, you got maybe the best team in all of baseball.
Right.
And if you lose, you're just losing a few bucks anyway. I'll get nuts with the Tigers at 22-1 to win the World Series.
So the revised odds right now, 22-1 for the Tigers to win the whole damn thing.
That's right.
Now, I jumped on the Tigers earlier in the year at 30-1 preseason. So we've got future still alive here. The Tigers and the Phillies are both alive for me.
And I got the Cubs, the Mets. The Mets are no longer with us, but the Cubs are still alive at 30-1 for me.
So, hey, out of 4 preseason futures where, if I remember correctly, our rules were simple. You can't pick the Yankees or the Dodgers.
That's right, yes.
You couldn't pick the 2 favorites. Who do you got? I think we did pretty well.
Yeah, that's good.
All you're asking for is a puncher's chance. And what's wild about that Tigers-Indians matchup, they're both at like 22-1.
Yeah.
It's the same odds. So if you get that series right, no matter who you bet on,
you're on to round 2.
You're on to round 2.
Yeah.
And again, that's a pretty good chance to get 20-1 in the divisional series.
And the great thing about this is when all of our teams lose this week, for next week's show, we'll still have long odds. I can do nuts again.
That's right. All right, let's recap the board here. I am on Bama minus 10.5. I'm riding that Texas defense in the swamp. This is not an Arch Manning pick. This is a Texas defense against a pretty bad Florida offense pick. I'm laying 6.5 with the Longhorns. The Degenerate Special, San Jose, Friday night, minus 2.5. And action tonight, under 3.5 runs, first 5 innings for the Reds at the Dodgers. Rob.
Going under 56.5 in the Vandy game. I need the little man to have a bad game. And then we're laying 20.5 in the Notre Dame Boise State contest. And we're on for Let's Get Nuts, the Tigers, 22-1 to win the World Series.
Kenny Britt, our pro handicapper from KB Sports. He's with you, Rob. He's on the under 56.5.
We're not losing together. I love it.
Vandy and Bama. He's over 51.5 in UNLV at Wyoming. And a game that he's very concerned about the Wyoming uniforms. He's made that perfectly clear. David Stephanoff, our guy from Follow It Never Fade. Alabama's team total, over 32.5. Can't see Vandy shutting down a Bama offense that's clicking right now. And he's riding the Lightning on an over Tulsa and Memphis with 55 points. Those are our plays. Hopefully, you guys cash some tickets. And we will be back on Thursday for the NFL show. Now, I'm jinxing myself by saying this, but I'm 6-2 right now in the NFL. Thank God, because my college record has been butt crack. But we're circling the wagons, baby. We are circling the wagons. I've hit 3 of my last 4 college games. We're 6-2 in the NFL, so we're rolling. We are rolling, and we will talk to you on Thursday for the NFL betting show. For Rob Kendall, for Kenny Britt of KB Sports, David Stephanoff of FollowItNeverFade.com, I'm Jason Hammer. Good luck, everybody, and as always, may the odds be ever in your favor.